Grand Master. And he's responsible for the general running of the City of London and what that entails. It's largely now a position of really entertaining. He entertains visiting heads of state, businessmen, that sort of thing. It's
fish and chips. We're selling fish and chips, and they were about £2.50. That's not a
We are at Royal Ascot. Judy and Bob kind of carrying on.
but it wasn't over the top. I mean, you could do that twice.
Very nice. Hospitality suite here. See what Clark Griswold's doing. Oh, here he is. What's he doing over there? Bartering. Looks like he's trying to... It really is at 6:28. It's actually 12:30. And over here we have a little band playing. Lovely, really. Here's Judy, the queen of Royal Ascot. Here comes young Robson. Well, I think I'll go back in and finish my champagne.
Why don't you let me take the picture of you in it?
I think everything else closes down here at 6. Why wouldn't it?
Have they stopped?
You know, that would have been the spot to go down. We should have been down there. Been standing here for an hour.
Yes, well, that's Clark Kent
It's
right
now
there.
time to get a picture
Clark Kent.
of the
Clark
castle.
Griswold.
Clark Griswold says, picture
Take
of
a
the castle.
picture of the castle.
All right, I'm going to walk up to the
Now,
gate here.
what castle is this, Dennis?
Windsor Castle.
Looks like a big place. 2 guards standing duty.
We think we're rich. Or anything significant. All right, I'm going to pan her on now. Policeman with traffic stuff.
I'm so far back, the carriages, they look like moving.
And there's the carriage.
carriage. That's why it wasn't making much progress. It usually goes in the carriage.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, this if you go to
Traverse City.
Pardon me?
Traverse City.
River City. Where's that from?
Lake Michigan.
It's about 100
Over on,
miles south
here's
of
Michigan,
the Sioux.
up over here. Yeah, about 100 miles south of the Sioux.
Oh, from the Sioux. Okay. Did you catch them this morning getting into their cars and whatnot?
You know, we were at the races and we saw them come in, but we were, you know, we didn't have the they won't let you take the cameras in.
Now there's a car coming down. Yeah, they're going to let us in now.
Why, thank you.
Really about time.
It's got the Royal Standard on it. It's in the certificate. It may be someone involved.
Just guess.
The guests of the Queen, they could be
There's got to be somebody.
Maybe it's the
Cars disappeared into the bowels of the. No. It is a carriage, though.
The other carriage is turned off.
That one's coming down.
A little stinker.
We're gonna hold right here. Carriage slowly makes its way. I'm gonna start again with that person walking across the street. Take a look at this.
Well, get this.
And we're gonna go back to the Queen now. And the Queen's carriage.
God's coming back here too. Look.
Yeah, look at them all out.
I'm gonna pan around here. You'll see them changing the guard.
See, look.
Oh yeah. Pan back. I'll get back where I can. Another vehicle.
Footman and
Servant.
yeah. Yeah, the liveried footman. It's I've been there over 900 years.
They stop the traffic now.
Not the bit you're looking at. It started
1068.
from the round tower, the circular tower in the centre.
Extended on the.
Yeah, virtually every monarch up until Charles II added to it. Wren was involved in the Guildhall, which is built within the precincts. And Sir Christopher Wren was who built St Paul's. Because we don't build that many churches anymore. But in the city of London alone, in 1 square mile, apart from St Paul's, Wren is responsible for 51 churches other than St Paul's in 1 square mile. And in here, Wren was a very proud architect. He was actually an astronomer to begin with. He was a very proud architect. And he put up the designs for the Guildhall in here, which actually didn't have any columns.
All right, and I got it to my sister.
People that died said that the structure wouldn't stand up. What is the colour?
To me that found it. Somebody gave it
So
to
he
me.
said they didn't need
I
colours.
don't
He
know where she
invented
found
this
it.
hammer beam roofing to stress the walls.
Which is funny because about a week
They
later,
said
my
they wanted their
exact
colours.
same camera.
What they forgot was that he controlled the workforce. The guild wall inside, it's got columns. All an inch.
I'm wondering if the roof ever settled to meet the columns.
What was that, Lord Robert? Jeez, Clark Griswold. Oh no.
Sir Dennis.
There's the Griswold family. Some of the local subjects.
We've gone to Smith's Lawn, where there's a little turn in briefly to the Henry VIII gate.
So this is where the carriage came and went up through this gate?
These people, I think, were on the carriage. Then they would put the carriage in the Royal Mews. They've obviously been to the races.
Yes.
So
Indeed.
this is Henry VIII's gate. This was the one that he added during his reign. So it would be between 1507 and 1549.
He got married to the woman next door.
He got married to every woman next door. Like 6 times.
George, do you have your knife in your pocket handy?
No, I don't actually. It's in the boot. But I can just stop here briefly and get it for you.
Well, there's a bottle opener that was in one of the glasses that.
Whoa, hold on. Make it stop.
Wait a second.
I didn't know what that was.
Okay, we got it here.
Got it.
Right.
Whose statue is that?
Queen Victoria.
Oh.
There must be more statues of Queen Victoria.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, she was.
It
Yeah.
was the first that nobody liked.
Elizabeth I was a horror.
That's right.
Needs to be a motion.
It's the largest inhabited castle in the world. The perimeter wall is a mile long, so it's quite a big structure.
It's amazing to me. You don't have all these Secret Service guards around.
Oh no, you don't. We don't see many of those. It's very low key.
Old boys' toys. We should go in that store.
Got a lot of boys here that like toys.
That's Eton on the other side of the river. This is the bridge which is closed to traffic that leads up into Eton High Street. But we'll just drop down to the river here for a second because quite often, at times, it looks typically terribly English by the side of the river.
Oh, isn't that lovely?
It's sort of
The rowing club?
rowing club and jolly hockey sticks and everything, cucumber sandwiches,
Quite appropriate.
everything else you can think of that's typically English. I don't think I've ever eaten a cucumber sandwich in my life.
Oh, I've been eating it since I've been here.
We like them.
I wonder what they're building in Windsor Castle with the big crane
And
up
that's
there.
been up for over 6 months. They're doing a sort of resettling job on part of the tower. You can see by the look of the stonework that they work on it all the time, and the stones move slightly, so they resettle them. But as we go down now to Datchet, depending on the trees, you look back fairly soon, you get this
Oh, that's beautiful.
sort of fairy tale look.
Rugby to
Look, Mookie don't look.
starboard, Dennis.
Say when?
Trees are kind of full here.
I think if you want,
No, you really can't.
there's a better one in a minute. I pulled in to let the cars go. Otherwise I was holding everybody up who's going home from work.
Cedar trees all over there. Nice big row.
This is about
Move your head
Got it?
there,
the angle. I'll pull in and let this guy overtake. G?
That's all right, George. We're,
Sure?
yeah, the
Yeah, we got
trees
it.
are
It's good.
sitting by the trees.
I got it.
Got it.
Which again, just sort of here, it's, you know, little boys and the little boats. It's typical Thames. This is, of course, the Thames, which flows through London.
Isn't that great?
And then Datchet, which is a kind of sleepy little village. But it's got a few bits about it that I think find it quite attractive. It's got the constituents of the English village, which is the village green, the essential constituents of the English village.
Pub on the Green, War Memorial.
Yeah, and the pub, always the pub opposite or overlooking the green. This one is quite it's obviously quite a wealthy village or whatever. It's got 2 pubs overlooking the village green, and the church, of course. The essential bits.
Chicken.
And the Mock Tudor Manor Hotel. Beams are straight, which makes it Mock Tudor. If it was Tudor, the beams are never straight, because the beams were never made to build houses from. They used the available materials from broken down ships. So therefore all the woodwork was curved, and they just filled in with daub and wattle in between as best they could.
There's the War Memorial
There's the War Memorial
on the green.
on the green, and the pub.
And Bob's Porsche.
And a nice little cottage here,
Indeed.
which is 1550, and the church.
You know who's buried there? Dead people.
Dead people. You know that guy on the tour yesterday said that John Quincy Adams was the 6th president? He's wrong.
No, I know it.
He was the 3rd.
Yeah.
4th.
4th, Washington. Well, he was the
John Adams, Thomas
Right.
Jefferson, John Quincy.
right, Adams and Adams. You didn't expect them to know American history, do you?
Sorry, this city is full.
Back up.
Come, hello. Here we are in Green Park. Here we have the 2
Take the lens cover off, Clark.
There they are on their way to Buckingham Palace. Goodbye.
You guys dancing. Yo.
MTV, rap.
Word up. What's happening? His dad's embarrassing the locals.
Wide angle.
The camera on fire.
Yeah, put it in the
You going wide?
Yeah, I'm going wide. There's the king himself.
Look at the beer cooler.
Where?
Não tô vendo.
There you go.
Dennis, what do you want to do with the 30 seconds of film we have left over after this?
How many seconds are there?
30 seconds.
Stop it.
That's in Kroger.
That's the end.
La verdad no es un lugar bueno, vamos a ver si vai dar aí. Roda 20 minutos. Vai trombar em frente.
Das ist der neueste Witz, Manta-Witz. Aber die sind noch nicht hier, die Manta-Witze. Vielleicht ist da ein neuer
Tem que ficar de pé aí por hora. E não pode comprar nem nada. Se fizer.
Hier war nicht so anstrengend, ich habe nur schon vorhin schmerzen.
Clark, you see the guy with the cooler on his back?
Wait, alright, there you go. Lens got that.
What are those tall white? What's that? That window that comes to the city. What's the
Across the street.
But it's ringing right now.
Is that the ring?
That's the ring.
There it goes.
That was it. Gold Bell gift stands. Old Gardner diesel.
I hope so. This may be our boat right now coming into the dock. The old Viscountess to Greenwich. We'll find out in a minute, won't we? There's our good old friend, Big Ben.
So that's the Westminster Bridge?
Yep.
10 Downing Street is just across the road, and it's not too far away from the Houses of Parliament. But it is nice to know the MPs will be safe in the event of a nuclear attack. Now if you look to our left hand side, you will see the Golden Eagle. That monument stands there very proud in brave memory of the pilots of the Royal Flying Corps and the RAF. That's just back on the left, the Whitehall Stairs. Building next door with the Union Jack flying to our left is the Savoy Hotel in the Strand. This is where many of us rich and famous celebrities stay when we're in London. £550 a night for a suite. Designed in the early 70s when concrete was readily available. Unfortunately, weren't too much style about, but they do tell us it's a lot nicer on the inside. Which, looking at it, at the top are kingfishers, on the far right herons, just on the right there is swans at the top. Every marble column has got a different. They represent pulpits of a church, these marble columns, in memory of the Blackfriars Friary. St Paul's Cathedral, the second largest unsupported cathedral dome in the world, the largest being St Peter's in the Vatican City of Rome. It was built after the Great Fire of London of 1666, 365 feet to the top of the Golden Cross. The dome weighs over 64,000 tonnes. The best view you'll get is up the staircase to our left. Unfortunately these days that's the best they've left us, but 5 of the Apostles on the front there. And during the 30 odd years of construction, Wren never lived in the city because there was nothing left standing off Bankside. That is where Sir Christopher Wren lived for over 30 years. Catherine also used the original tavern. They're them two, they used to be the same. Unfortunately, they pulled down many of the historical interesting buildings that they could have converted, they didn't realise. And they replaced them with Massachusetts, USA was baptised.
John Harvard.
Edmund Shakespeare. It represents a candle, 202 feet high, 311 stairs. Sir Christopher Wren's monument represents a candle where the great fire ships, a cruiser on the inside and a destroyer on the outside. The one on the inside was the largest and fastest cruiser ever built. Now you compare these two vessels. The one on the inside, in the midships, the armour plated is over 18 inches thick. Then you look at the modern one, you can actually see the ribs. That's how different they build them these days. Let's say the armour plated around the midships, waterline and Belfast, is 18 inches thick, reinforced steel. And the Royal Naval Destroyer on the courtesy visit to the upper pool of land. Again, quite a few vessels from overseas and of our own Royal Navy, modern bits and pieces. As I say, Belfast, launched in 1939 by Lady Chamberlain. She helped chase and eventually sink the German pocket battleship, the Scharnhorst. Headquarters ship on D-Day, also Europe. Another part has been added on in later reigns. During the tower's lifetime, she's been used as a fortress, a palace, a prison, and a zoo. Now a museum, and deep down in the earth houses the crown jewels. Now you see the Traitors' Gate to our left? Well, in the old days, traitors of nobility that were found guilty were taken from the Palace of Westminster, rode through the gateway at half tide, then of Townbury. Look up to the top, you'll see the crest of the City of London. I pointed out the westward marker, but that's the eastward. We've now passed right alongside the 1 square mile to our left. Once again you see the old walls. Look at Butler's Walk. Just look at the size of the building. Used to handle goods from ships from all over the world. Rather unusual looking one now.
All the cargo being stored down in the hold to keep it dry obviously. So all the crew's quarters were above deck, which was rather unusual in sailing vessels in the old days, but on the tea clippers it wasn't. Had a maiden voyage from Shanghai with a freight that took her 102 days back to Beachy Head. She still holds the record, travelling 362 miles in 124-hour period. The Cutty Sark, beautifully restored, open to the public, well worth a visit.
Kind of high tech, isn't it? Rigging there.
Now, further down on the right, you'll see the impressive buildings of the Royal Naval College. 400 years ago, get your field developed, repair the Coast Guard with this painting, and your photograph, and you'll find nothing has changed, apart from the odd double-decker bus whizzing by. In the centre is the Queen's House of Greenwich. The building behind it up on the hill with the red ball at the top is a Royal Observatory of Greenwich, designed by Sir Christopher Wren. Opened in 1675, it's up there where we get the GMT, Greenwich Mean Time, and also the Meridian line, a £5 million movie, and it does have the finest collection of maritime paintings in the world, worked by Hogarth.
Here we are, right at the side of the old Cutty Sark, studying the hull.
Where's the scotch?
Where's the scotch? Wave to the camera.
Ice parking only. See the sign? Nothing.
I'll take
Was that a second hand up chair?
No, it's here.
Ready? Wait!
Excuse me, Mr. Weird. Yo, Senor Turisto.
What do we have here? A reject from Bronx, I think, huh?
You're blocking the view, son.
I know, man. Get out.
Here we are at the Royal Observatory. Here we have the dynamic duo. Duoing their thing. Now, where are you guys standing? Just out of curiosity. Well, what do you know? Look at this. Longitude 0.
Oh, no. Sorry, how are you?
And here we have the dividing line.
Bradley's Meridian. Bradley's Meridian there.
Where? What's that? What does that mean? Now here we have Mrs. Zinn.
Go ahead, Lloyd.
Hello. Take up.
Because you're...
Would someone please give us a commentary of where we are and what's going on?
Hey, there's Andy the dog down there.
Is that Andy?
Remember Andy the dog? Here we are looking back at the main parts of London.
Docklands area.
Dockland area.
And that's the tallest building in Europe?
850 feet.
Wow, they got
Here we are. Is that the National Maritime Museum down here?
Well, yes, Bob, I think it is.
Whoa, what do you know? There is the National Maritime Museum and Queen's House and
Bob?
King Arthur's exhibit.
Excuse me,
Sig.
Mr. Roberts.
Clark.
There's a good-looking couple. Honey, stay there.
They look like northern Michigan. It's uraniums. Silver leaf. That's all I can tell you. I didn't know you could make geraniums grow up.
Here we are inside the Royal National Maritime Museum.